Hello everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to start another fun embroidery project, and this one is by Embroidery Library. This is actually a combination of two Christmas scenes that they put out. I think this one came out last year, and then they've added this one to accompany the first project. So you can do these individually or you can do them combined, and I'm going to show you how to do them combined. I think this is an adorable Christmas scene, and I cannot wait to get started. So let's first take you to the website where you can get the designs. This is Embroidery Library, shortcut emblibrary.com, and I'll put the link in the description below. And the first 6 panels of this adorable train is called a Christmas Express train scene. And this is a design pack, and right now it's on sale, half off for $17.99. And you'll get these 6 blocks, which will be the North Pole sign and the train. This is the first design pack. Now we're going to do 2 of them combined. You don't have to do that. Like I said earlier, you can just do the one. And if you decide to just do this one, you need this one design pack, and it'll be a total of 6 panels. If you want to do both scenes combined, then you would look for this one, which is called a Christmas Express scene. See it? This is a Christmas Express train scene, and this is just plain a Christmas Express scene. And this is adorable too. This has got the Santa Village. This has a snowman, and actually you can see the train tracks, which link it to the other scene. You've got deer and Christmas trees, more of the village, and this beautiful scene up here with the stars in the sky. So this would be the second design set, which is $6.30 on sale right now. That is a great deal. And then this can be added to that first scene. So you see, in proportion, everything is to scale. It works perfectly by adding it to that first Christmas Express train scene. So I am going to show you how to do all 12 blocks. 6 blocks for the Christmas train. Then I'll show you how to do the 6 blocks for the Christmas Express scene. Then I'll show you how to sew them all together. And you'll have various options on whether you do it like this, like a window scene, or you could stitch them together without the window sashing in between. Or, which I'm thinking I might do, is I'll do the window sashing, but then I might add extra borders around the side in embroidery as well. So there's all different types of options that you can do to finish this up. So these are the 2 scenes that you can choose from. Again, I'll put a link in the description below. And then let's go to the table and let's show you the supplies you need to do this project and the prep work for your fabric before we can start stitching. Okay, so let's head over to the table and let's take a look at that. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is prep our batting and our fabric. The size of the fabric that you're going to need is going to depend upon the size of the design that you've purchased. I am going to use the 8-inch design. I think it's like 7.8 or 7.9 inch, just under 8-inch design. So based on that 8-inch block, I've cut my fabric 2 inches bigger. So my fabric is a 10-inch square piece of fabric. All right. So if you choose the, say, just under 5-inch design, I would make your fabric squares, add 2 inches, 7 inches. All right. So whatever size design you choose on Embroidery Library, just add 2 inches to that and then cut your fabric square. So again, I'm doing the 8-inch. So I made my blocks 10 inches square. All right. I went ahead and I put a fusible on the back. This is Paylon 860. You can use that or SF 101. And the purpose of this is to support the cotton fabric. You're going to be putting a lot of stitches on this fabric, and having a fusible on the back side helps support that fabric and helps minimize your puckering. Then when we add it with a combination of the batting to make it a quilt block, you literally will eliminate the chance of puckering. It's an amazing two-step process that takes away the frustration of spending all this time and money doing a block and then have it come out and it's all puckered. So the fusible is a crucial component. I use Paylon 860. I will fuse it with a pressing sheet on, of course, an ironing board. But what you want to make sure is you have the soft, fuzzy side facing up and the bumpy side facing the back side of your fabric. That's the glue. That's going to fuse it to your fabric so it's ready to go. So you want to do that for all 12 blocks if you're doing the 2 seam combination. As you noticed, my fusible doesn't quite go to the edge. It doesn't have to because you're not going to be stitching all the way to the edges. This fusible comes in a small bolt, which is 20 inches long. So I can cut it 10 inches, which goes from this side to this side. And then I just make a 9-inch cut because I know I don't need it all the way to the edge. So I can save an inch of fabric, or I can save an inch of fusible every block. And then eventually that ends up to being coverage for another block. So it saves a little bit. So go ahead and cut your fabric to size, cut your fusible to match that, cut 12 of those. So now I've got the batting and I want to cut the batting the same size as the fabric. This is 10 inches. I want these to be 10 inches. And I've cut 12 of them because I'm going to do both of the Christmas scenes. Again, if you're going to use the design that's under 5 inches, your batting should be 7 inches. All right. Match the fabric. So go ahead and cut your fabric, do your fusing, and cut your batting. I'm going to show you some of the rest of the embroidery notions that you need to do this project. All right. So now I need you to go to your computer, and after you've purchased the design, I need you to print out the color thread chain sheets. There's going to be 1 sheet for each panel. It gives you the unique colors that are used in each block, as well as the thread color changes. And big note, when we go to start stitching, I'll remind you of this too. The color changes do not go up and down like they used to. They go left, number 1, to right, number 2, number 3, number 4. So left to right. Make sure you remember that. And like I said, I'll remind you because that's critical in the color changes. You got to make sure you got the right color in the right spot. So left to right. So print out the Christmas Express train scene panels. That's going to be what I'm going to show you first. And then if you're going to do the second set, that's Christmas Express, you can go ahead and print that out too. This is going to be a little bit different. They've done the color changes all together. And when we get to that scene, I will go ahead and draw lines as to where each block starts and stops for you. Because right now, the way they've done it is just a massive 65 color changes, which is not true because that's broken up over 6 blocks. But I'll show you where the blocks start and stop on that one. So go ahead and print out those color changes. Now, just as an example, I'm going to pull all my colors from my thread stash of what I'm going to need for all of these blocks. Okay, so I've kind of done it in colors like blue, green, etc. So let's walk through this. This one I have chosen to be Blue Jay. Isn't that pretty? Okay, that's the lightest of the blue. The next one is Royal Blue, which is a true royal blue. Then I've gone to Blue Spruce, which is kind of a dusty, almost an antique-y Victorian blue. And then a dark navy is Blue Ink. That's the one I've chosen for my blues. This, of course, is super white, what they call it. Then I've got 2 greens. I've got a lighter emerald green, and then I have your true Christmas green. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Then I have chrome, which is a light silver. Then the then the medium dark is going to be my polished pewter. And then this darker one doesn't show up on block 1. It shows up on block 2. And that's going to be called twister. So I got a darker pewter. So those 3 will look good together. Then I have a root beer, which is kind of a gingerbread color brown. I like that. All right. Then we have old gold, which is your classic. Okay. And then we've got reds, which show up on block 2. There's 2 of them. So I chose this Christmas red to be what they call barn red. And this is going to be the top of the train cars. So I said, okay, what red do I want my train cars to be? And I went through all my reds, and yes, I want it to be a true Christmas red. So that's what I'm going to use for barn red. Then I needed something a little bit lighter, and it's going to be for highlights. So they call it cinnamon candy. So then I went through my red stash, and I said, okay, if that's the main train car, give me a red that is lighter than that, enough that I can see a difference, but yet this will be the main train car. And I think that one is a good combination. Light enough that you can see the difference, but not too dramatic, and let that one do all the speaking, because that's train car. So those I think will look good together. I was going to go with what they call like a brick red, but no, I didn't want my train car to be that. I wanted my train cars to be the true Christmas red, because this is a Christmas block. All right, so the only other color thread you need is going to be black bobbin thread. And I use black thread in my bobbin because it matches the fabric. You do not need to change and have a bobbin of each of these colors. If you use black thread for all your stitch out, it's going to match your black fabric. So if there's any tension issues, instead of pulling white bobbin thread up on top of the black fabric, it might pull up a little bit of black, but it won't be seen against the black fabric, and it works for all of these colors. So for the entire project, I'm going to use black bobbin thread. Okay. You need, unfortunately, a seam ripper. You need some curved applique scissors. I will put a link to these in the description below. This is curved slightly, so when you are trimming your applique, or this project, your batting, you're not going to puncture the stabilizer down below because the scissors are curved upward. Like a pair of those. You need regular embroidery scissors for trimming your threads, and then you need some 7511 embroidery needles. All right, so go ahead and gather these supplies, put them off to one side like in a basket or a container to keep your threads from spilling out all over the table, and I'll meet you right back here with the last prep work that we need to do for this project. Okay, the last thing we need to do to prep for this project is we need to cut some stabilizer. I highly recommend using a poly no-show mesh stabilizer in this project. It's very lightweight. It's super supportive for your block, and it can be left in the project. You don't have to cut it out or do anything to it. You just leave it in the project. It's very lightweight. You'll never know it's there. So this is my preferred stabilizer for any of my embroidery projects. So all I'm going to do is get my 8" by 8" hoop, which I've got here. So you get the hoop that you need for your size of block. If you're using I think it's just under 5" design, like 4.8, you can use your 5" by 7" hoop. If you're like me and I'm doing the just shy of 8" block, like 7.8, I need my 8" hoop for this. Okay, so I have got my roll of stabilizer, which is a 12-inch rule from here to here. And I just lay my hoop down and I give myself a cushion to hoop. I've got plenty of cushion on this side and on this side. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a cut up here. I don't even need a ruler. It just needs to be basically straight with a little bit of cushion for when I go to hoop it. All right. So now I'm going to cut a total of 12 pieces of the stabilizer, and I'll meet you right back here when I've got that done. Okay, now that I have the 12 pieces cut, now I'm going to put one in my hoop. Now, mind you, if you're only going to do one side of the scene, the train scene, you only need 6. I cut 12 pieces because I'm going to do the 6 of the train and 6 blocks of the matching coordinating scene. So I need a total of 12 blocks, so I'm going to cut 12 pieces. If you're only going to do 6 blocks, you only need 6 pieces. All right. So I like to pre-cut everything because that way when it comes time to start stitching, I can just stitch. I don't have to stop and do any prep. I just stitch like crazy. All right, so now let's go ahead and hoop our hoop. Okay, I'm going to put the bottom of the frame down first. And I'm going to slide the polynotional mesh on top. I want to center it, giving myself a cushion on both the top and the bottom, and a cushion on the side. And yes, that's going to be enough. Okay, so I'm going to slide her in here, making sure that I've got it in there. I'm going to tighten it, not all the way, but like 75% of the way. And then I'm going to slightly tug, very slightly. I don't want to really yank it and pull it. All I'm trying to do is get any wrinkles that are in here out, but not overly stretch it. If you overly stretch this and pull too hard, then this alone will cause a pucker in your block, which you don't want. And then I twist it really tight, and then it's like a drum. Very soft, not pulled, like a drum. Okay? So now you're ready to stitch. So let's go ahead and go to the machine and let's get started stitching.